So stay on CJ Carr. Tell me about him. What does he do well? What are the things that he can bring that would challenge Miami's defense? And apart from just inexperience at this level, what are maybe some of the, operational things that are areas for growth or potential causes for concern, on Sunday night?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll start off with the, what he brings to the table and somewhat of the intangibles. CJ Carr has gained a reputation of just being a very high level football IQ guy. And as you guys know, when you're starting quarterback at this high of a level in college, it's something that you have to have with you. You can have all the athletic intangibles that you want to, but until the mental side of the game comes along with it, you're going to have a relatively low ceiling. We saw early in spring games with CJ Carr, his ability to make second, third level reads on a defense, and he was doing that as an early enrollee true freshman. And so since then, he's been able to build on that. Now, is he the high-end athlete? I'm not sure. I can't confidently say that because, again, limited sample size. I don't want to read too much into, well, this one time in this one spring game, he looked fantastic. It's like, okay, let's take that with a grain of salt. But there isn't a throw on the field that he can't make. I don't know if he can air it out and it's going to travel 70 yards in the air. But I have seen personally at practices throughout fall camp, in the spring game and various jersey scrimmages, if there's a spot that he wants to put the ball, he has the ability to do that. Now, So outside of the experience piece, the caveat to that is he's a very confident kid. And he's somebody that has a lot of confidence in his ability to throw the football. So, and I'm sure Miami fans have seen the reports about it. He does have the tendency. He has a little bit of that gunslinger to him. Think back to, you remember Deshaun Watson in 2016, how he had a fantastic year, but also had 17 interceptions. I don't know if CJ Carr is going out and throwing 17 interceptions his first year as a starter, but mentality is a little bit like that. One of the things that makes him so great is his ability to push the ball down the field and fit into extremely tight windows. Sometimes you have to take a little bit of the good with the bad with him. But as you guys have seen in recent years with Notre Dame quarterbacks, it's going to be really difficult to win a championship throwing dump-off passes for 60 minutes. And so that also kind of fed into a little bit of the decision with CJ Carr. It's one of the things that helps separate him in the competition.
Okay. Do you think at all that there's a chance that Kenny Minchey, absent injury, because that's always that looms over everything, but intentionally, schematically, or organizationally, do you think that there's a chance that Kenny Minchey sees the field, whether it's a package, whether it's a rotation? Is there any thought that maybe both quarterbacks find their way onto the field?
Yeah, I think so. Potentially on Sunday night and then definitely throughout the season. Marcus Freeman said it in his press conference yesterday. They have two guys that they're extremely confident in. And when he sat them down to have the conversation with them, it was hey, CJ's a starter. Kenny, this is going to be your role, but we're going to need both of you guys throughout the season. Now, I don't think it's going to be a situation where CJ has a short leash. If he goes in and makes a couple mistakes and dirts a couple of balls or maybe throws a pick, I don't know if the leash is going to be so short that he has to be looking over his shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I do think that there's going to be some schematic advantage to putting Kenny Minchey in the game because he does have a little bit of a different skill set than what CJ Carr brings to the table.
Okay. All right. Cool. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price. Go.
Look, man, you kind of answered half the question right there. It's a fantastic running back duo. It's not very often that Notre Dame can enter a season where they say, hey, they have the number one returning running back in the country, and they have a fantastic rotational guy in Jadarian Price as well. Look, even sometimes within the Notre Dame fan base, for whatever reason, Price has become kind of a polarizing player amongst some Notre Dame fans. Look, fact of the matter is he's somebody that if Jeremiah Love wasn't in South Bend, and believe me, very happy that he is, J.D. Price would be putting up a lot of numbers in that offense. He would. He's a very talented running back. But the way that they used both of them last year was perfect. Jeremiah Love averaged a little bit over 11 touches a game. And when you're playing a potentially 14, 15, 16 game season, you don't want your heralded offensive star touching the ball 20 to 22 times a game.
Yeah.
Going to be interested to see what their new running back coach does this season and how he helps manage that rotation, because, you go from Dylan McCullough, who had a lot of experience in that field, to Jay One-Sider, who was coming from Penn State. He was tasked with rotating Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton.
Oh, God, he's there now?
Yeah.
God, now that just means you guys are going to recruit in South Florida. Like, oh. What I mean, I've known Sider for a long time. He's well renowned as both a coach and a recruiter down here. So from all the things, I think it'll be okay on the rotation. My thing is, as I was just looking up the statistics to refresh my memory, Riley Leonard carried the ball like 130 times, 125 times. So I don't want to answer for you, but I mean, it begs the question: do you think insert player here at quarterback will have that large of an impact numbers wise in the running game? Not even necessarily from the yardage, but from the carries intentionally. Do you think that the quarterbacks are going to run as much as, the athlete that you had at quarterback last year?
No, 17 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Out of your quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
184 carries, 906 yards, 17 tuds, which tied him with Jeremiah Love. So you're taking basically 190 carries. I mean, I know the quarterbacks are going to run some. I'm answering for you, but I would think that something like 160, 175 of those carries now get split up between Love, Price, and insert third back here.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a really hot topic of conversation in kind of the Notre Dame fan base world, because that is a big gaping hole. It's 3rd and 2. You know where the ball's going. It's QB draw, QB counter, QB power to number 13. And more times than not, you're converting. When you're down in the red zone, quarterbacks don't get 17 rushing touchdowns by accident, and so when you look at his you said 184 carries on the season, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you look at his 184 carries, here's what's interesting about college. Some of those are sacks. Some of those are scrambles that get counted as rushing attempts for him. Now, what I will say is, to answer your question, no, whoever starts at quarterback this year for Notre Dame will not be used in the same capacity that what Riley Leonard was used in as a rusher.
Yeah.
And so you start talking about, okay, how do you divvy up those carries? Do you split it 50-50 between Love and Price? I think it's going to be more of a, let's just say, to make math easy, take sacks out of it, take scrambles out of it. To make math easy, he has an even 100 actual rushing attempts on the season. I could see a scenario where, say, 30 of those just get converted into passes. Those turn into passing attempts. Then out of the remaining 70, I could see it in a world where, Jeremiah Love gets 40 of them and Jadarian Price gets 30 of them. And Notre Dame has a very deep running back room, so some of those are going to go to Aeneas Williams or Jabron Payne or Nolan James Jr., who's a true freshman this year. So it can get split up in a bunch of different ways, but Cam, they're not going to run CJ Carr or Kenny Minchie anywhere close, in my opinion, to the same capacity that they did Leonard.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, okay, I was going to play semantics, but it was a difference without a distinction. I think that some of the scrambles are the ones that turn into passes and then whatever. So it's whatever. I mean, it's splitting hairs the long. I mean, I'm bald now, but it's splitting hairs the long way to figure out those numbers. But yeah, that was a big thing. And I definitely wanted to ask about it because for the last, I think in a more impactful way than against other teams in the last 20 years, mobile running quarterbacks have really, really, really been the thorn in Miami's side. So, adding a quarterback into the math of the run game just changes everything in a different kind of way. So, I definitely wanted to bring that kind of a thing up. Jagusa's not playing, is he? The offensive line.
No,
he wasn't on the depth chart. I don't think he's going to play.
Nope. He had an arm injury earlier in the summer, and so he's out. He will return at some point this season, but Jagasaw is out. So right guard will either be redshirt freshman Gerby Lambert or a redshirt sophomore Sullivan Absher.
Okay. Talk to me about the offensive line for the Irish. I think that this is a game featuring either the top 2 offensive lines in the country or 2 of the top 3. I think that y'all and us have really, really elite offensive lines. Just talk to me about who's going to play and just how that's become foundational for the offensive success for the Irish.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, the trench warfare battle on Sunday night, I'm sure we can all agree, is going to be one that if you appreciate good football, especially depending on what the weather's looking like down in Miami, it's going to be one where you need the big boys up front to do their job. The outlook on Notre Dame's offensive line is significantly different in week one this year compared to where it was at last year. Last year, they're traveling down to College Station. They get Texas A&M on the road, top 20 matchup, and they return 6 combined starts on the offensive line. And the center, who was 3 of those starts, was out for the season by game 3. And so Notre Dame's offensive line had a lot of different injuries. Unfortunately, this is back-to-back years where Charles Jagasaw is going to miss time at the beginning of the season because of an injury in the offseason. And so through that, Notre Dame was able to get a lot of younger guys now significantly more experience. As somebody that now covers the team, I wasn't at this point last year, but it was not on my bingo card for Anthony Knapp, a true freshman, to start at left tackle when Charles Jagasaw went down. But he stepped in. He held his own against Nick Scourton, the edge rusher from Texas A&M, who's now in the league. Now, was it perfect? No. Was he also a true freshman? He was. So he now returns. He has 15 career starts under his belt. Left guard, Billy Schrouth. He is a veteran. When you go back and you pull up some of the numbers, when he's in the starting lineup, Notre Dame averages over 200 rushing yards a game. He didn't allow a single pressure in the postseason, and that was going against Indiana, Georgia, Penn State, and Ohio State. Didn't allow a single pressure there. Ashton Craig, it's kind of the same thing. When he's on the field, he is an exceptional pass blocker. Hasn't allowed a single sack in any game that he's played in. But again, here's the caveat. He's played in 6. And so can he stay healthy? That's a question mark. But when he is, he's extremely valuable. The 2 guys that are kind of up for debate right now at right guard, Gerby Lambert was a highly touted recruit. He came in. He's a big dude, man. He's 6'7". He's 335 pounds. He's somebody that has all the potential in the world. He was originally slated to be a right tackle, but they kicked him inside once Charles Jagasaw got hurt, and he's really impressed some coaches at camp. And then Sullivan Absher has kind of been their utility knife. He's a little bit longer than what Gerby Lambert is. He's 6'8". He's 327 pounds. He's an athletic kid. I think one of the things that's handicapped him is throughout his time at Notre Dame, they've tried him at right tackle, right guard, left guard, and they've also had him take some reps at center. And so it kind of begged the question, hey, if you ever need him to step into the starting lineup, did he get enough experience at just one position? I think we started to see that unfold a little bit throughout fall camp. It's why there's a position battle right now. I think the starter will be named here. If I were a betting man, which I am, I would probably say sometime in the next 24 hours. And then at right tackle, Emil Wagner. He's the only offensive lineman last year for Notre Dame that started, played, and finished all 16 games. And so last year, you're coming in with 6 combined career starts. This year, you're entering week 1 with 52 combined career starts and almost 3,000 snaps of experience amongst the bunch. So to your point, on both sides of the ball, these are 2 really impressive offensive line units going to work on Sunday.